Shamaya, you did it.
STL Music.
Is that good? Welcome back to the show. Yo, listen up, we back in the game. Sweep the league, we got the flame. Motivated to the fullest every single day. We wake up, get it in every way. Right to the 222 and the global inspiration. Talk this sports and top news, no hesitation. Sweep the league is back. We always coming back, that's a fact. Wanna tell them that STL Music, mama, we did it, where we at? Coach Jill in the house with the flow so tight. Every rubber rocks, that's we unite. Yeah, the best show, Monday through Friday. If this ain't different, they lying. We got the energy. When I say sweep, you say the league. Sweep the league, sweep the league, sweep the league, sweep the league. San Antonio, let's go. Sweep the league. Sweep the league. Sweep the league. San Antonio, let's go.
Hey, it's Rain Fernandez, and you're watching Sweep the League. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and Facebook at Rain Fernandez, Rayne Fernandez.
Hi, it's Sherilyn, and you're watching Sweep the League TV. Follow me on Instagram at official Sherilyn for more content.
Hey, it's Rain Fernandez.
2, 1.
Well, as you guys can tell, Derek Irvin doesn't miss anything. If you don't want to miss anything as well, go to YouTube. Search at Sweep the League TV. Be a subscriber today. We're giving away a bunch of prizes and stuff. Be a subscriber today so you don't miss, just like Derek never misses. Subscribe to Sweep the League.
Hey, this is George Iceman Gervin, and you're listening to Sweep the League Radio.
What is up, everybody? It's the Tuesday night edition of Sweep the League. Rudy Campos Jr. coming to you live from the Sweep the League studios here in, should I say San Antonio, Texas? Now, we're going to call it Seguin, Texas. You know where I am here. Nonetheless, it is this Tuesday night delight of Sweep the League. Shout out to MCS General Contracting, proud sponsors of Sweep the League. They are the best in the business. Chris Leha and the boys, they're doing something fantastic when it comes to everybody out there. They're giving away 3 $100 gift cards as a Thanksgiving thing for you people out there. The thankful thing to do. MCS, the greatest company in the world right there, giving you 3 $100 gift cards to 3 winners. But wait, as the people, what they say in what Scream or whatever it was, a scary movie, there's more. Sweep the League's adding a $100 gift card to that. So that's not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 gift cards of $100 is going to some lucky listener out there. Not even listener. You got to go to MCS General Contracting on their social media, Twitter, X, whatever it is, Facebook, Instagram. They're giving you instructions. You just got to comment. You got to tag 5 of your friends. You got to say Happy Thanksgiving, MCS. You got to follow them. It's simple. And guess what? To have a chance to win a $100 gift card for Thanksgiving, it's easy. You don't have to do anything. Nothing comes out of your pocket. Comes out of our pocket. Comes out of their pocket. We're paying you just to be a subscriber, just to be a friend of theirs, a follower of MCS. We're paying you guys to do it by entering you into a free $100 gift card drawing. There's going to be 4 of them here. That's MCS General Contracting, the absolute best in the business. It's the Tuesday night delight edition. What does Tuesday night mean? We talk a little NBA. We talk about the first 12, the college football 12. The rankings are out here. We're going to go over that. Your football weekend, it's over with. Who were the best teams of the weekend? We just got a ton of stuff coming out. It's going to be myself. It's going to be the Hall of Famer himself, Derek Irvin, Coach Gio. So heads up on Coach Gio. Coach Gio's got a little stuff going on with work, so he's going to be in and out. So it's not PTO time. It's time that he's doing for his job. So he'll be on with us when he can. Also, shout out College Football Weekly. We did a show today. It's gonna be launched tomorrow. You'll see it during the day tomorrow. We've got more Sweep Unplugged coming to you guys. Clint Daly was the last guest that we had. It's just amazing stuff that we've got going on here at Sweep the League. Also, I Am Refocused Network. Shemaya's got a lot of podcasts coming there. The Best Boys podcast, the best hockey podcast in the business. Then if you don't like sports, you want to talk about life, you want to talk about laws, you want to talk about everything in general, the Lean Left, Lean Right podcast with Shemaya and myself. Also, shout out Jacob Eric. We inked him to a deal, so he's going to be launching a card podcast. So when I told you the network is growing, it's growing. That's not even a little bit of what we got coming to you guys. So tons of stuff coming to you guys from Sweep the League. Go to YouTube, search Sweep the League TV, be a subscriber today. Let's bring him on here so we can get the ball rolling. Is that Derek Gervin? That is Derek Gervin. It might be a little
I think that's
guy.
my name.
That is your name, man. You know what?
How you doing, my man?
I'm good. You know the big thing is that we got to make an announcement for Derek here. Derek has joined the Cameo world. He was approved and he's on the Cameo world. So if you guys want a shout out from Derek Irvin, all you got to do is go to cameo.com. Type in Derek Irvin. He's going to give you the birthday shout out. He's going to give you all the shout outs there. It's amazing work. I saw it today. Derek, congrats. You're on Cameo now, man. I want to be a little bit popular like you.
Well, first I want to thank you. First day, man. So we'll see what happens. But I was excited to get on there, and I'll be excited to talk to people that want to talk sports. Man, we could talk basketball, we could talk football, but mainly I'm sure people will be talking to me about the NBA, college, and maybe the WNBA, and even hopefully high school.
Yeah, well, you can talk to Derek Irvin about anything basketball. That's what it comes down to. You have a problem with what the Spurs are doing. You have a problem with LeBron James, or you feel like LeBron James is the greatest basketball player to ever live. Hit him up on Cameo. He'll talk to you about it. He'll either set you straight, just agree with you to not argue for any reason whatsoever. Just hit him up on Cameo. That's all you got.
There'll be respectful conversation. Sometimes we have to agree to disagree.
Yeah, we save the disrespect for Sweep the League. He'll never disrespect anybody on Cameo. There's no doubt about that. Or the disrespect here, man. Derek, disrespect is giving hope and all that stuff in the NFL world. Disrespect is having a star logo being America's team, and you are, as the weekend says, blinded by the light because you are so stubborn that you don't want to cover one side. Now, I made the comment in the original Cowboy Stadium, Derek, they had a hole in the roof. And that hole in the roof was so God can watch Cowboy football. Well, Jerry decided, I need the hole, but I also need the hole in the side of the stadium too. So I said, God said, hold my wine. I'm going to blind these guys and have a little bit of fun here. That's got to be comical, man. He hurts his team more than anything, even more so ever.
Well, hey, the sun seemed to bother them a little more than it bothered the other team. So I saw CD Lamb saying that the sun, blurred his vision and he couldn't see the ball. So Jerry is a businessman, and sometimes businessmen, people don't make smart decisions. And when you looked at that sun, I think the sun did affect him on that pass. And so, I mean, it's the Cowboys, man. What more can I say? I don't want to offend people too much, but to me, they're one of the teams that are Murphy's Law. Whatever can go wrong will.
Yeah, you know what Murphy's Law says? Murphy's Law's second law says whoever can join the show will join the show. That is Coach Gio himself. What on a Tuesday? What did the check clear, Gio? I'm pretty sure it did, didn't it?
Sorry, I'm late. It did clear. I'm planning a trip to New York, so on the phone with Southwest for a little bit here. So
Oh man, New York. Are you going to go watch Danny Dimes finally play in person?
No New York games. We'll stop by Madison Square Garden, but no no Giants games whatsoever. Though the Rams are going to play the Jets, but not that time.
Not our time. So Derek's on Cameo now, Gio. Are you on Cameo now? Am I the only one not on Cameo here?
You know what's funny? I saw that, Derek, and you know what I was going to do as the prankster that I was going to say, "Hey, Derek, can you say LeBron's a GOAT and wish my son happy birthday?"
Oh, hey man, you can do whatever you want on Cameo like that.
I thought it'd be real funny.
I would have answered you too.
Well, I would have done like
Gio,
anonymous, of course.
He's one of the greatest that ever played, man. And I know people keep having a debate about him and Mike. And at the end of the day, both of them are two phenoms that we might not ever see those type of players again. And I hope people just really start appreciating it. I love LeBron, what he's done, especially off the court. The guys never heard even a whisper about him doing things, getting in trouble or just putting himself in bad situations. I don't believe the stuff about the P. Diddy, about LeBron doing, because you can be there, but I don't believe he's ever got into anything. And it's amazing with the background that he comes from with him and his mom being on drugs at one time. So the guy has had a stellar career, and I have to commend him for that.
No, I mean, listen, I've always said, Rudy, to me, he's top 5 greatest of all time. We can all go back and forth on who's in the top 5, but yes, he's played a long time, so he's the leading scorer. He should be, but hey, he's still going out there. He had a triple-double a few weeks ago. I still think he's a really hell of a great player, but my GOAT, everyone knows it's Michael Jordan.
I think everybody has Michael Jordan as their GOAT. I mean, I think we talk about it so much on the show where it's like, Jordan, Bron, Kareem, whoever's your GOAT, that's your GOAT. I mean, it's going to be debated every single time. Shout out to Chris Lehan here, MCS General Contracting, saying, let's get it, y'all. Shout out to Jacob Eric. Now, again, I'm going to make the announcement. Jacob Eric, who's a part of Sweep the League, he was with us at the Comic-Con. We're launching another podcast, man. And again, it's another short podcast thing. It's nothing long like our regular show. It's going to be about cards, man. Sports cards, Pokemon cards, everything. We're diving into the card world. So shout out to him, because we're also going to be doing live broadcasts at certain card shows around the city. So you'll see myself, Derek, Shemaya, at a lot of these card shows as well. Come by, say hi. Derek's going to sign autographs. I'm going to take pictures.
I was going to ask, can I bring my own cards? Because I actually have some cards that someone ordered for me that I'll be getting hopefully within the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, bring them. I mean, make a little donation to Derek Gervin. That's all that matters there, man. We're going to be signing everything that he wants to sign. So yeah, shout out to Jacob Eric and Leha saying, did we see the coach Mike press conference that Jerry put a shade up for the press conference and covered that the blinding light, as the weekend said here. So I'm going to say this, Jerry's definitely not serious about winning. I don't know if he's ever serious about winning. It's just the Cowboys, man. It's Cowboy world. That's all we can say about that.
Rudy, can I please, man, before we even talk any basketball, anything, Micah Parsons, I'm asking you and Gio, and for the listeners, I know Micah is supposed to be one of the best players and, one of the best defensive players on the team, but when you're out for a period of time with injuries, did he do a good thing when he came back the other night and made those comments, or last night or night before last, about Mike McCarthy? Should you even say things that that people might misconstrue? But why even put that kind of stuff out there? Was that a good decision, what he did? Because it sounded like he was ripping the coach.
Yeah, it sounded like he was ripping the coach, Gio. Was that good or bad? Because for me, it was terrible that Micah did that. You've been out with injury. I mean, get your ass back on the field first and then talk your talk.
Not surprised. Micah, listen, of course your team isn't playing well. We get that. And there are ways to motivate, do certain things within the locker room. I just think it's uncalled for. Plus, your defense, by the way, hasn't been particularly good when you've been on the field. And we could say Zimmer this and Zimmer that, but at the end of the day, the players got to go out there and play. And Rudy, we can all agree, Cowboys, man, they've been terrible. And how long is Dak? Is he gone for the whole year, Rudy?
Yep,
he's gone for the year. He's out for the year. He's having surgery tomorrow.
Yep.
Man, I should have put a bet on Cowboys missing the playoffs because I would have won some money. Because they definitely not making the playoffs now.
No,
Gio, they said he tore his. They said what I heard. They say he tore his hamstring off the bone, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's done. He's donezo for the year.
How many wins do you think they get?
Oh, from now?
I don't think they win
3 and 6, 5.
I start tanking. Why not?
But okay, that's a good thing you bring that up because you say you start tanking. Who do you tank for? You can't move on from Dak. You just paid the guy. So you're not going to get a QB. You tank for Travis Hunter?
Travis Hunter with CeeDee Lamb. What do you think, Derek? Travis Hunter and CeeDee wouldn't be a bad mix there.
Yeah, that'd be a great mix. But I've been seeing Shador, people talking about tank for Shador so they can get Dion to come to Dallas. And I don't know Dion period, any more than you guys do. So I can't say if he would take the job or not. Maybe Jerry would finally be ready to give up some of that power. His way hasn't worked in over 30 years. So, I mean, if he could get Dion and Shador, I mean, that would be heaven for a team that's called America's team. That would be a perfect fit. But if you can't get Dion and Shador, yeah, Travis Hunter is he's different.
But are you serious about winning if you get Deion Sanders as your head coach?
Sure. I think so. You put together a good staff.
You pass up a lot of other head coaches that have other coaches that have more NFL experience for Deion. Now, I'm not saying Deion's bad. I'm not saying he's a bad coach, but there's a lot of other coaches out there with NFL coaching experience that would probably be a better fit. Now, if you bring Deion in as an assistant, I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
But does his ego allow him to be an assistant?
Why should he have to be an assistant when you're talking about the Cowboys?
Well, that's the thing. I was talking about Jerry. So, I mean, if you draft Travis Hunter, I like the Travis Hunter pick there. I think they would have to. I think more than likely, you got to go defense because they're not going to sign Micah. You're not going to sign DeMarcus Lawrence. So you lose your entire pass rushing right there. You would probably have to go defense. As much as Travis Hunter's great, you have to go deep.
Are they going to let Michael?
News alert. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I'm like you, Gio. News alert. What do you mean they're not going to sign Micah?
Well, what are we talking? 46% of the salary cap is already in Dak and CeeDee's lap. That's almost half of your salary cap.
But you know what? Another thing is, if I'm the Cowboys, wouldn't you package Micah? You would
I think so.
That could be potentially what they could do. Listen, Micah's a great player, but if you can get picks on top of your already top 5 pick, I think that bodes well for Cowboys in the future. DeMarcus Lawrence, they could cut him, whatever the case may be. I see them. It makes sense to probably trade him. Why not? Get assets. Get assets.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I need Rudy to go back and pull up the film from the beginning of the year, Rudy. Because I want you to remember, we talked about out of the threesome, Dak, CeeDee, and Micah, who was the one that will be left out if it was any of the three. And my answer was Micah Parsons. I told you they're going to sign CeeDee first, and then Dak, and then Micah will be that third person.
Yeah.
So here we are.
Yeah, we all said Micah Parsons would be the odd man out. You have to have a QB because there's no other QB that was going to be a free agent worth getting. So you signed Dak. You need a playmaker. You had CeeDee Lamb. You signed CeeDee Lamb. Odd man out would have been Micah Parsons. Now,
he's not worth it. The baggage.
Well, he's not worth the baggage. But my problem is Jerry shouldn't have made the move.
I'm saying he's bringing too much baggage. We had the conversation with him and DeMarcus Lawrence arguing on the bench, right?
Yeah.
The next week, both of them are out with injuries.
Yeah.
And now he's back and he hasn't played and he's still talking and he shot his coach down, man. There's no coming back from that. We all know, you know it, Gio know it, and I know it, that after this year, Mike McCarthy's a done deal. But there's a thing called decorum, man. As a professional athlete, and what he's been doing, man, it's not above board. It's below board. It's not good for the game, man. It's just totally disrespectful.
Yeah, and it's you mentioned Mike McCarthy. What I'm going to tell you right now, I got the latest numbers on who would be the next Cowboy head coach. Lo and behold, I mean, Derek is like a fortune teller because Mike Vrabel is the name that's leading the pack right now as the head coach. I'd like it, but I don't. I mean, I don't know. I don't. It's hard.
Do you know why Mike got fired at Tennessee? The report was he didn't get along with ownership. Mike's his own guy, obviously from the Belichick tree. He's his own man. I don't know if that's going to work. I do like Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator from the Lions. I think that makes a lot of sense. Bring an offensive-minded head coach. We see what the Commanders are doing. This Cliff, do I see him with the Cowboys? I don't know, but Deion's interesting, but maybe you go more proven road. There's some guys out there. There are some guys that'll be available. And hey, Bill Belichick, for what it's worth, is sitting around there.
I don't know if Bill does it. The more I think about it, I don't know if Bill does.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Rudy.
No, go ahead.
Great. Throw something in the mix. What of you guys? Tell me if this would even be on the table for you. Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season, and we know he's been very comfortable in Pittsburgh. If they were to throw the bank at Mike Tomlin, what do you think about that move?
Probably a trade, right, Rudy? They would probably have to trade for him. I don't think Pittsburgh's going to
allow him to go, but yeah, I would say probably. I mean, would Tomlin want to go? That's the other question.
$15 million.
I mean, if you back up the Brinks truck for him, I mean, any coach would want to leave.
Pittsburgh would probably want a first round draft pick. I would assume.
They won't get a first for Tomlin. I would say the highest, if we're being
a second.
I think you could probably do a second, but I think more than likely they probably settle for a third. I think a third.
Because what John Gruden went for several picks, right?
Yeah, but I'm talking several thirds, maybe for over a couple of years. I think that would probably be what they would probably get.
But Mike Tomlin and Jerry Jones, like that's Tomlin having his interviews and Jerry having his. Mike's his own man again. He's gonna say it. And just imagine Mike commenting on what Jerry said about the team. It's just I don't know if that's gonna go over.
Gio, the reason I said that is because first of all, I don't see them sitting in the press conference together like when McCarthy and Jerry are there. I think if Jerry brought him in, this would be more like bringing in Parcells or bringing in Jimmy Johnson. I know you're talking about a guy that's proven. We know he can be a disciplinarian, but he's also the guy seemed to love playing for him. And I mean, what could go? The worst could happen is they bring in they go back to losing if they brought him in. But he's never had a losing season. I don't think for me it's Mike Vrabel's number one choice, but Gio, I do like the Ben Johnson talk. I think the guys would really kind of get in line for him, and he seems like a player coach.
But here's the other question, Derek, does Tomlin want to go to Dallas and not have a winning season after being 500 or better every
I think with him they would have a winning season.
I mean, he would change the culture.
I think he would. He would look at that roster from top to bottom, and then you possibly got a guy like Shedeur or Travis Hunter coming in. That it would make perfect sense to me. If you're ever going to move, you want to move when you get a franchise player, and if you can get Travis Hunter, aren't you getting a franchise player?
You are, yeah, you are. I mean, realistically, the Cowboys are 3-6. The worst team in the NFL right now is 2-8, and that's Jacksonville. I don't really see the Cowboys winning the next 3, possibly 4 games at all. So to say that they tank, but I mean, you got to remember there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams that are at 3-7 or 3-6, similar to the Cowboys. There's 5 teams with 2 wins. So even if they tank, it's going to take a lot of work to get to that top spot.
It's going to be a lot of self-sabotage. Hey, you're not playing today, all right? That's the type of stuff that's what's going to happen is, and the NFL is notorious for sitting guys who are close to their bonuses. So,
oh God, yes.
That's something that the Cowboy fans, but that's why I said it, guys. When their biggest thing in the offseason was signing Zeke, I just sat back and I looked and said, Rudy and this guy think they win 10, 11 games. I don't see it. I just don't. I mean, obviously, Dak's hurt now, but it was like I didn't see it with him.
I thought you were talking about the Oklahoma State Cowboys when we were talking that. That's where I was going that route.
I think it's time for Mike Gundy to either retire or exit from.
Did he cut the mullet? He cut his mullet off, didn't he? I hope he did.
Hey, shout out to
the Billy Ray Cyrus look.
Shout out to Kansas. I was the only person who picked them. They upset Iowa State. That was a big college football weekend. Georgia, Carson Beck did what he normally has all season, throw 2 or 3 picks, and looked absolutely terrible again.
I don't know about that. I don't know what to think. We're going to get into our CFP top 12 here. The top 12 rankings came out for the college football playoffs, and what we're going to do is we're going to go over a little bit more of college football, talking to Coach Gio, Hall of Famer Derek Gervin, Rudy Campos Jr. Let's go over some scores from this past weekend. So, obviously, Oregon, they took care of Maryland. Ohio State beat down Purdue. You have the Ole Miss game. They beat Georgia 28-10. Miami goes down. We all talked about Georgia Tech, how it's one of those games you want to sound the alarm because it's Georgia Tech. You never know which Georgia Tech game you're getting. Cam Ward did have a good game, still 348 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. But they've been playing with fire all year just about, and it finally caught up to them. Georgia Tech beats Miami, drops them, obviously, from 4th down to, we got the rankings coming up in a little bit. Texas takes care of Florida. Penn State takes care of Washington, Tennessee. And then you go to Indiana, where they had their toughest game of the year. Now, when it comes to Michigan, guys, I was telling you guys, you throw out the record. Michigan's a Big Ten powerhouse regardless of the record. This was Indiana's first test. They passed it. Their next test comes in a couple of weeks, which we will get to. BYU with the controversial, the Kansas City Chief win over the Utah Utes, because
I almost called it, Rudy.
That was a major Patrick Mahomes cheat job there for BYU and Utah. But nonetheless, I think Derek and I took BYU. Sorry, Gio. Notre Dame beat Florida.
I was close, Rudy. I was close.
You were a bad defensive penalty away from beating us right there. Bama takes care of LSU, basically knocks LSU out of the CFP
what a
there.
Thanks a lot, LSU.
Yeah, Boise State obviously took care of Baden. Yeah, Chip Kelly. Gio's Kansas Jayhawks.
Poor guy.
Pittsburgh on a losing streak now. They lose to Virginia, and the rest of the teams ended up winning in the
Colorado, Rudy. I called it.
You called Colorado. Yeah. I owe you an apology. That was a very good call.
We owe him an apology.
We owe him an apology. We owe you a lot of apologies.
You guys said what, 3? You said, and specifically Rudy said he don't know if they won 3 or 4 games.
5 wins.
I don't know, Rudy. You said something about 3 or 4 games.
I said 5. Derek remembers. I said 5 wins.
Pull up the tapes, producer.
We need the tapes. We'll get Shemaya and Mark on the tapes here, but. The team I want to talk to you guys about, this is kind of crazy for me because Army's that team there where they've got probably their biggest game of the year coming up this weekend. It's going to be Army against Notre Dame, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to make sure I have it right. If it's not this weekend, it's next weekend. I believe it's next weekend. So Army, Notre Dame. When does Army get the respect that they deserve? Because they're still not talking about them being in the college football playoffs, but yet Army shot up all the way to, they went from 25, they're number 24 in the coaches in the football rankings right now. The AP top 25, Army 16. if they beat Notre Dame in a couple of weeks, you got to make a case for them to be in the top 12.
Only if they beat Notre Dame. We saw what Navy got destroyed. And I'm not comparing, but Navy did not do well against Notre Dame. If they can beat Notre Dame, I think they definitely have a case. But I think that loss that Navy had kind of hurting the other academy school, at least right now. But they got a shot, but it's going to be tough. Could Army win a playoff game, Rudy? I think that's also a question. It's possible, but it depends who they obviously play.
Did you guys forget who else is on Army's schedule?
There's a 4-letter school, UTSA.
They got a team down here in San Antonio that's gonna be looking at.
Nobody talk. No one's talking about that team anymore for the wrong reasons.
Hey, now I don't know, Gio. You see what they did to Memphis?
Yeah, both of those teams are a bit disappointing, but
for UTSA's sake, they play North Texas this Friday. We're actually announcement time. There's no show this Friday because we're going to be all at the UTSA North Texas game, bring you coverage. So there's no show Friday. So for those logging in, sorry, we're going to be covering UTSA football. Plus, Mike Tyson fights that night. We got to get y'all's Mike Tyson picks in. So Thursday night is our Pick'em show. We got our Pick'em show on Thursday. It's not going to be Friday night, but nonetheless, UTSA. I mean, if they play Army in North Texas the way that they did this past weekend against Memphis, a couple of weeks ago, they got a legit shot at beating Army. I mean, they really do. They could spoil, the Black Knights season right there. There's no doubt about that. Derek's right. I mean, they could go in, beat Notre Dame, be on a high, come into Texas, or actually, no, I think they're going back to West Point. Yeah, and then, I mean, UTSA could win that game, and boom, there goes everything. And that's the crazy part. But the talk of the town, Sweep the League's own Indiana Hoosiers, the Sweep the League's very own official CFP team is Indiana Hoosiers. Where are they ranked on the college football 12, guys? Is it surprise you that if they'd started today, they would get Alabama in round 1 right now? So they are number 7 on the CFP poll right now, the 12-team college football bracket projection here. You've got Oregon 1, Texas 2, BYU 3, Miami still at 4. I can't understand Miami at 4. I would have probably put Ohio State at 4 right there. But I think they're looking at the Big Ten title game right now, probably Ohio State, Oregon, unless Indiana comes through and beats Ohio State, which is a good possibility. But nonetheless, Miami's still at 4. First round matchups: Boise State, Ohio State, Notre Dame, Tennessee, Ole Miss, Penn State, Bama, Indiana. Y'all's first thoughts on the newly released 12 teams in the bracket right now?
Wow. It's a sad day in Athens, that's for sure, because what they didn't do against Ole Miss, they're going to need help clearly to get in. It's interesting. BYU really at 3. I mean, who would have thought? At the beginning of the season, we talked about BYU, and I'll never forget. Rudy said, "We don't have time to talk about BYU.
We don't have the time. Weirdest stuff. You realize
we don't have time." And I said, "Are you sure?" They got some stuff coming back, but no, it looks pretty good so far. I mean, Boise State's been playing. They had a little bit of a scare against Nevada.
Yeah.
Indiana, that's a tough matchup, though. Milroe going into Bloomington, that would be you best believe I'll try to find a way to get to that game. It would probably cost us several $1,000s, but no, it looks pretty good so far. I mean, BYU, I don't know if I'll put BYU at number 3, but
no.
That's my thing, because I would probably switch. I would probably potentially, Rudy, would you switch BYU with Ohio State? I mean,
well, You could switch BYU and Ohio State, but I think Ohio State should be at 4. If you're gonna disrespect them a little bit, I mean, you don't want to go all the way up to 3, but I could see BYU maybe 4, and Ohio State at 3.
I mean, Ohio State lost to the number 1 team by what, 1 point?
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I don't see where Ohio State comes in at 5. They should be at least top 4 still. There's no doubt about it.
Shouldn't they be over Miami for sure, shouldn't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
The Ohio State
and
lost
BYU.
by a point. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. The Ohio State lost by a point to Oregon is nowhere near as bad as Miami losing to Georgia Tech.
And I said it, guys. I said Miami's frauds. They have a great offense, but I just think as a team-wise, that defense is extremely leaky, and they continue to do it again. Yeah, Miami should not be number 4. Man, but Indiana number 7. I mean, not even I thought
they
this
should
would
be. Yeah.
I thought
Gio,
they would be good.
Number 7.
Oh yeah. I think
now.
I mean, it's a tough matchup, obviously, against Alabama, a team who can, as we just saw last week, put 42 on LSU at LSU. So Bama could be actually riding high. We'll see what happens, though, because if Texas beats Alabama, right, let's say they play in the SEC championship game, that means they'll have 3 losses. Georgia would, if they run the show, only have 2 losses.
Yeah.
So that would be real interesting to see what happens. But, I think Indiana's right where it probably should be. But if they beat Ohio State and they play Oregon in the Big Ten, I mean, that would be phenomenal. And I believe it's going to be here in Indianapolis, too.
Why didn't they seed Indiana number 4? Because they didn't want an early matchup between them and Ohio State? I don't understand that. Because if you look at how they've been playing, and we're supposed to go about how they're playing now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Indiana, we know that Indiana has been playing, and then if you look at Miami, who I love, but we both know all 3 of us know they could easily have 3 losses. And then you look at the way Brigham Young won the last game. Out of those 3, who's been the most impressive team? Hasn't it been Indiana?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So to me, that puts them in that 4th spot or the 3 or 4 spot. They've been more impressive than every team except Oregon and Texas at this point in the season.
Yeah. What we're going to do is let me bring up. So those are the projected matchups. The actual rankings are right here for college football playoffs. So the actual college football playoff rankings, Oregon, Ohio State, Texas, Penn State, Indiana's at 5, BYU 6, Tennessee 7, Notre Dame 8, Miami 9, Bama 10, Ole Miss 11, Georgia 12. So technically these are the top 12 in the CFP right now. What we were showing was just a projected bracket based off of what would happen if certain teams lost, certain teams win, stuff like that. So ideally they're thinking that more than likely, from what I get, the way the projection works is we're probably looking at Indiana losing to Ohio State, which isn't a bad loss, and then Ohio State losing to Oregon again in the Big Ten championship. That's why they would have them at 5. But as of right now, these are the rankings going in to Week 12 for college football playoffs.
Hey, Rudy, looking at how Ohio State has looked, I'm not really that impressed. If they were to go head-to-head with Indiana right now, I'm telling you, I would favor Indiana to win that game.
How much favored is Indiana, do you think, Gio? Like, seriously, going into Ohio State? Now, they don't play this weekend, but we're talking 2 weeks from now. You're getting, essentially, you're giving Cignetti a whole extra week
to prepare.
That's the dangerous part. Also, don't forget about Purdue. Big game, big rivalry game at the end of the year. Never want to sleep on those types of games. But no, give him 2 weeks against Michigan. Listen, Michigan, for what it's worth, they are a very, very physical team. And Indiana was obviously able to squeak out. Indiana's defense was on the field a whole lot in that second half. They were winded, but man, what a physical group. I give Indiana a good shot to beat Ohio State. Now, obviously, I believe, Rudy, it's in Columbus, right? So it's going to be a big time environment that the Hoosiers this season haven't yet been to. I mean, the biggest environment we went to was, I don't know, UCLA or Michigan State, obviously. So that's a big atmosphere. But I give them 2 weeks to prepare, Sig. They're going to throw a lot at Ohio State offensively. They get that running game going. They got a good shot to beat Ohio State. It's crazy to think, but they're right there with them.
They got a better. To me, they have a better shot of beating Ohio State right now than Ohio State has of beating them.
I would have to agree with that.
They legit, man.
Crazy.
Gio, that running game is potent.
The running game and Curtis Rourke. That's a tough matchup, but if he gets more comfortable, because remember he was out for that game against I forgot what team we played that we just destroyed. But he was out most of the game against Nebraska, and then the following week, and they've played well. And man, they have a great shot. Could you believe, Rudy, if they win the whole thing?
Oh God!
I was just going to go there pretty much, Gio, and ask so what about Texas? Are you guys as sold? I'm not that sold on the Longhorns from when Rudy, you and I picked them. I'm not as sold as I was at the beginning of the year. Not even close. They showed a lot of weaknesses.
They have. I still pick Texas to win the national title. I'm not going to stray away from that. I think the loss to Georgia was good. It was a good punch in the mouth. I didn't have them going undefeated. I actually had Texas at 2 losses on the year. So the Georgia game was kind of a toss-up for me. I knew it was, if I remember correctly, what I said was the Georgia would probably be one of their losses, and then they would lose one rivalry game. They beat OU, but they still got A&M at the end. So those would be the 2 losses going in. I'm really glad that Georgia went into Austin and did what they did. I mean, I really, truly am, because they needed that wake-up call. I think they were kind of feeling on cloud 9, and then you had some people calling them overrated at the time. So brought back down to earth, you get the guys working again. Ewers is looking good. You still have Arch Manning there. I like Texas still, Derek, but looking at the other teams as we're coming to the end of the season, I'm scared of Indiana. I really am, especially if they beat Ohio State. That's a very scary team. Can Indiana run can they beat Oregon? That's the question. Can they?
That's the question.
That's a tough one. But Oregon has a lot of speed, and Indiana has speed as well. But look, this is a team that has a bunch of new players. I mean, the transfer portal. The
Ducks.
That's what I'm saying. That's going to be a tough one. So Indiana, I think, just take it week by week. But if they get to the Big Ten championship here in Indianapolis, which would be a treat to go watch if Indiana goes, I only could imagine how many. That Lucas Oil is going to probably be sold out. I can only imagine how many IU people are going to be there. But yeah, just take it week by week. Could they win the whole thing? Why not? I mean, they're undefeated,
right,
and fairly healthy. They did lose one offensive lineman, but if they win the whole thing, Rudy, do you think this is one of the all-time great college football stories ever?
This is one of the all-time great stories, period. I wouldn't say just college football. I mean, golly, man.
I have a question for you two guys. First of all, I still don't believe in Steve Sarkisian. Okay, but now I have to ask you guys, when you look at the top 12, that the playoff teams that they picked so far.
Okay.
Should Ole Miss be in there over Colorado?
That's a good question. Yeah.
Gio?
I think barely yes.
Boise State over Colorado?
That one I say no. I'll say no on the Boise State one. Definitely not. The competition that Boise plays hasn't been exactly the competition that Colorado has played.
And Nevada was right there with them.
Yeah.
For not the entire game, but for most of the game. Colorado's the team. I have to give a lot of credit to Warren Sapp on that defensive line front. He's got them playing the team is just playing well. And I said it, guys, just be quiet and go out there
and play.
And play.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
They haven't lost, Gio, have they? Since they did the played the music and all that in the locker room.
They haven't
we
lost.
Know he'll be right back.
Yeah, he'll be right. The thing with Colorado is it's crazy, man. It's super crazy with Colorado.
You have to put them in the 12, Rudy, though, because it's about who people want to see, right?
But who do you take out of the 12? I mean,
you have to take out. You have to take out either boy. To be honest, hell, Alabama is questionable.
Well, that's the thing is Boise right now with the college football playoffs. Boise State isn't in. They're 13th. They're first team out right now. As of right now,
I would keep Boise. I would have Boise number 11. I would have Colorado number 12, and I'm taking Ole Miss out of there because Ole Miss, we've seen Ole Miss is so up and down. Then they kind of remind me we don't want to see what happened to that team. Who was it that got beat by TCU? Who is that? The TCU got beat. What was the score? When they had 3 points, 56-3 or something.
56, yeah, it was like 56-3.
On a not so good day, that could happen to Ole Miss.
Yeah.
And so I don't think they're worthy right now of being in the top 12 over these other teams. I think Colorado would be. They definitely would sell better. And I think who doesn't want to see Shedeur at this point and Travis Hunter?
Yeah, I agree with. I do agree with. I mean, I would put them above Kansas State. I would put them above A&M. I would definitely put them above SMU right now. I think what it is with Colorado is they got to look at those 2 losses. It was Nebraska and it was at Kansas State. So because they lost to Kansas State, you really can't put them above Kansas State right now if you're going off of that. So I understand that. The SMU one, I can drop SMU a good amount. I can put Colorado over Boise State. I don't know if I have them in the top 12 just yet, but that'll change, Derek, because one of these SEC teams is going to be gone, whether it be Ole Miss, Bama, or possibly Georgia. One of those teams might end up dropping out somewhere there. They still got, a couple of games left that are still going to be pretty tough games. So the chances are there that you could possibly see Colorado sneak in. Texas beats A&M at the end of the year. That should drop A&M. SMU, I think, might still drop a game. Kansas State can drop a game at any time. Again, Boise State didn't look good last weekend. So a lot of these teams, Colorado's, they're biting at their ankles right now. They're waiting to get in. And one of those teams, 10, 11, 12 out of the SEC, one of them will potentially be out of it at the end of the year. So Colorado could sneak in at 12. I mean, I definitely can see it. And then remember, if Notre Dame loses to Army, that'll drop them completely out because not only do you have an Army loss, you have a Northern Illinois loss at the beginning of the season, which I can't believe hasn't killed them as much, but they have beaten some really good teams. Notre Dame has played some really good teams and beaten them. So I get that. But you brought up a point that I bet you a lot of listeners didn't pick up on. Colorado will sell the tickets. That's why Notre Dame has to be in there because Notre Dame in college football sells tickets. But if they lose to Army, well, that's 2 losses, and that's 2 losses to teams that you definitely shouldn't have lost to. That should drop them out of the top 12 as well. Coach Gio, Hall of Famer Derek Irvin, Rudy Campos Jr., we're talking to you about the college football playoffs, top 25. One thing we got to mention here with the top 25 is MCS General Contracting. Top 25, no, they are the best team in the business. In any college football rankings, in any rankings business-wise, it's MCS General Contracting. Why? They get the projects done right the first time. You don't ever have to call them back because you know what? It's going to be right, guaranteed. When you got a guarantee by MCS General Contracting. You also got a guarantee from Sweep the League. How is that so? Well, guess what? It's Thanksgiving, guys. They're giving away 3 $100 gift cards to people that just follow their social medias, comment on there by tagging 5 people. Follow the rules. Go to MCS General Contracting across social media. Follow the Thanksgiving rules. And also, because we are in the business of feeling thankful, Sweep the Lead is adding $100 gift card to that. So it's going to be 4 $100 gift cards total going to some lucky people that are following MCS General Contracting, the absolute best in the business. JC's in here. Afternoon, gents. It's late evening here, but I think JC is still overseas somewhere. So he says, Gig'em A&M there. Appreciate you joining us in. It's going to come down to
Rudy,
it's going to come in the last couple of weeks, Derek.
Don't you forget, though, I got a hat coming this weekend as well.
Yes, you do.
MCS. I have
Yes,
a hat
you do.
coming. I'm gonna be sharp at the UTSA versus the Mean Green game. Let's kick some butt, roll runners, and thank you for the hat. I appreciate it, gentlemen at MCS. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we got hats. I got my hat on. Derek's gonna have his hat on. I'm gonna mail Gio his hat and his shirt. His shirt came in. I got Gio a large. I got him the tight size. So I hope the large.
No, I've been lifting a lot of weights, man. 2X, Rudy.
2X. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to. I got you a 2X. Don't worry, man. We got you covered on that. But we got stuff because shout out to MCS General Contracting. They're providing us with some great hats and they're giving away a whole lot of stuff. But college football wise, man, we're at the end of the show here. College football wise, it's literally gonna come down to the last couple of weeks here. I mean, Gio, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 SEC teams in there. There is absolutely no way that all 5 get in. There's probably no chance that all 5 get in.
If Georgia wins out with only 2 losses and Ole Miss gets a loss or Alabama gets a loss, Georgia potentially de facto gets an SEC bid without having to win the SEC.
Well, that's the thing. Who do we circle as the SEC champ? Is it going to be Texas? I mean, being real, for real.
Probably them or Alabama.
So Texas or Bama? I would put Texas over Bama. If they play head to head, I put them over Bama. I can't see Tennessee being there. I mean, they still have what? They have Georgia, they have UTEP, and then they have Vanderbilt. The UTEP game, I'll give them. But playing Georgia,
Vandy's no slouch. And Vandy's no slouch, Rudy.
That's what I'm saying. I'll give them the UTEP game, but I'm not giving them the Vandy game. I'll give them UTEP. But they're going to, if they lose to Georgia, that puts them at 2 losses. Now, likewise, if Georgia loses, that's 3 losses. Rest in peace, Georgia. There's no way they can get out of that. That could change the dynamic for a lot of this college football playoff rankings here. And that's why I said 5 teams in the SEC getting in. I can't see it. I don't see it at all.
Georgia versus LSU in a bowl game.
That sells a lot of tickets. That sells a lot.
Because they're both going to be the 3-loss teams.
If Georgia gets to the playoffs, all Carson needs to do is just play the best, 3 or 4 game stretch he has all year.
Yeah.
Georgia can win the whole thing. But as of right now, Carson Beck has regressed significantly. I don't know what's going on there, but he's graduating, and the offensive coordinator, Mike Bobo,
man.
Dude,
the interception. He's gotten rattled a lot this year.
He has. And look,
if it wasn't for Kirby Smart, man, the young fella gets rattled.
Hey, how I missed Stetson Bennett. Oh man, Stetson was a calm in the storm. Now, when Stetson Bennett got there, he was a walk-on, and he didn't do well early on when he was starting. Had that tough game against Alabama, but he 2 straight championships. But man, Carson, to talk about a regression, I thought this was the year he was going to have last year. Last year, he did better than what I expected. And then this year, it's been, I mean, the fact that we don't have more losses, we probably should have more losses than this.
Do you think the best game they've played all year is against Texas?
Yeah, and probably because they were hearing.
Well, let me rephrase that. The best half they played all year was against
first half, yeah. But it's what, second half? What half was it? Second half, right?
I mean,
First
that
half.
First
Bama,
half, yeah, okay.
that Bama
Yeah,
second half
yeah.
was pretty good too.
The
But
Bama
he did
second
throw
half was good.
interceptions.
I'll give him that. But speaking of Bama, this is the other part about Bama. They're 2 losses. They've got obviously they got Mercer coming up. I'm not worried about Mercer. I mean, they're Northern Illinois. But then they got to travel to Norman to play Oklahoma in a night game. It's something about these damn night games in SEC country that just they don't add up. So potentially that could put Bama at 3 losses. But wait, there's more. Auburn to end the season. You throw the records out for Auburn, Bama. So that's another team that you've got to look at. Like, I don't know if they make the CFP top 12 because they've got a tough schedule. And that's why I think Texas is primed to be the SEC champions only because of, I think, the rest of their schedule. Let me bring up the rest of their schedule here. But
are you saying by default, sir?
I mean, they got Arkansas, which Gio always reminds me of Arkansas. Then they got Kentucky, which Gio reminds me about Kentucky. Then they have the rivalry game at A&M. It's not the easiest schedule,
That's 3
but
tough
it's the
games.
more favorable schedule
of
any SEC team left.
Okay, but that's 3 tough ones, though.
Yeah, they're tough, but it's the more favorable schedule. I mean, luckily they get Kentucky at home in Austin, because if they're in Kentucky, I might be singing a different tune there. But they got to travel to Arkansas. When you go to Arkansas to play, it's tough. Jerry knows about tough losses.
Yeah.
So.
Whenever you go on the road, and sure, there's going to be times where we saw Arkansas get destroyed a few weeks ago at home, but in general, you never know these games. You know, the weather, it's raining. You can't sleep on Arkansas, especially not Kentucky as well. They're going to play Kentucky has a tough defense. So,
very.
So watch out for some of these teams. It's crazy how fast, Rudy, college football has kind of gone through this season. And but hey, you know what? Shout out to Washington State. And I see them at number 18, been playing well with basically no conference, though they are in a two-team conference with Oregon State and also Tulane, Army. Man, SEC, a lot of teams in the SEC in this top 25.
Well, I mean, yeah, because I mean, you go Texas A&M. Who else you got? LSU, South Carolina, Missouri. I mean, you got if you're in the SEC, you're ranked. Put it that way. Let's just put it that way. You're ranked in the SEC. If you're in the SEC and you win 4 games, you're going to be top 25.
Hey, Rudy, before we get off, man, I want to kind of switch it over just for a second.
Sure.
Well, you guys both know, I don't know, Gio, Chet Holmgren.
Yeah.
I want to send my well wishes to him. Did you guys see that fall?
Sure did. That was terrible. That was so bad.
I don't think he's going to be back anytime soon. I'm talking March, April at the earliest. What do you think about that? That's more than an 8 to 10 week injury, the way he fell.
I would say I heard 10 weeks, but I think it's going to be a lot longer. Chet is a very lengthy guy, and he's not have a whole lot of meat on the bones. So it was a very hard fall. I'm going to say this, and I say this very, very bluntly and very reluctantly when I say, ask you guys, would it not surprise you if he's out for the year?
No, it wouldn't surprise me.
Because of the way he fell, and being that it's a hip injury, it's going to be tough for him to come
he
back.
Fell flat. I mean, there was he couldn't brace himself. And then when he was, at least he still had a sense of humor, because he was upset and he cursed because the guy still made the basket. But when he fell, man, you could hear him scream, and I hated to see him like that. It's sad, the type of year that they're capable of having. And then you already have Isaiah Hartenstein out, who was projected to be out 5 to 6 weeks. So I wanted to see how interesting it'll look, the two of them together. And right now, they don't have either one. So Oklahoma City's got to suck it up. But I wanted to send my regards to Big Chet, man, because I think very highly of him.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I got a quick question before we go here. Jeff's asking what happened to UTSA football this season. NIL, man. NIL, they lost a lot of starters. They lost a couple of players in the transfer portal, and it's just one of those rebuilding seasons. See if they can get a couple of wins here to get into a bowl game. They need 2 more wins. They play North Texas. They still got Army on the schedule. Can they get these 2 wins? We'll see. I mean, if they played the way they did against Memphis, I really think they can do that. So, but UTSA football, it'll be back. Just got to give it some time. Got to give it time. But
Well,
go ahead.
No, I was just say the NIL has hurt programs like this.
Yeah.
In the past, you look at Indiana. What was Indiana? They just couldn't obviously get recruiting. Now with money involved, the boosters of IU, it's a big school. Rudy, we're seeing you're putting money into the program legally, right? So yeah, and players transferring. It's tough to keep a team. That's why I'm so surprised Trailer stayed as long as he should have, because you want to go to a bigger school with more resources at the end of the day, because I'm sorry, that's how you're going to win. Look at Colorado. Look how fast around they turn. So that's tough.
Yeah, it is a tough
Florida's out. Florida's off the map right now for Mr. Trailer.
Yeah. Florida State's not. I'm telling you.
Yeah, Florida State's getting they've got to do something, man. That's not the Florida. You remember though, they struggled when Jimbo around that time when Jimbo was ready to leave.
Yeah.
And so they started struggling, but not like this. I mean, to start off, and then people had them rated so high early in the season, and then to start off the way they played this year, man, it's been a waste this season. And at the end of the year, coach probably will. I don't see how they can retain him after this.
Yeah. Nobody knows. I mean, I say Norville's gone. I know at the beginning of the season, I think y'all were saying that he has, it's going to be a year. He'll get another year. I don't think so, man. I think he's been gone ever since that first couple of losses of the season. I think he was done for. They were just waiting for the season to end. But before we go, I want to bring this about the Chet Holmgren to you and Gio real quick, because I want to bring this up. Oklahoma City has the players. They have the picks. You're desperate now because you've got a good window open. Do they make a move for Giannis to fill that hole? They have everything they have. They have Lou Dort and I believe Hardenstein make it work salary-wise. They have the picks. They don't have to give up Jay Williams. They don't have to give up Shai. They really don't have to give up Case and Wallace, really. I mean, they don't have to give up anybody big unless Milwaukee wants them, but they've got the picks, which is key for Milwaukee. Do they make a play for him?
The question I have is, so what do you do if Chet comes back 100% the following season? But what about Hardenstein?
You trade him away to Milwaukee.
Hardenstein I guess you would have to, but would they make that move and he's been out all season?
I think if Milwaukee's already at a loss for the season, what do you have to do? If you're getting like 4 or 5 first rounders for Giannis, I don't know how you don't do that.
Hardenstein would play better with Dame. I think they would fit better. I can see that. I don't think him and Giannis is ever going to work out. So a healthy Hardenstein, I can see that move. I can see that working.
If they trade Giannis, Dame's going to be like, I'm back in Portland again.
Go from one bad team back to another.
I'm back in Portland basically again. And if they do the trade, it probably looks like the Bucks are probably going to strip down the team. Doc, thank you for your service. And it could be that bad time. Yeah. Start trading away players. If they trade Giannis, you might as well trade most of your.
So you saying rebuild, Gio? So they basically would be in a rebuild, But I can't argue that because Brook Lopez is getting up there in age.
Yeah.
All your best players would be Dame and Brook. Bobby Portis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would probably make sense.
That's lottery.
And you see what type of players are coming into the pool the next few years. If I'm the Bucks, if he can get something in return. Listen, you got a championship with Giannis, and maybe it's about that time.
Yeah, I think you make that deal. If you're Oklahoma City, you're probably inquiring, knowing if Chet might be gone the rest of the year. Yeah, Gio. Before we go, Jeff Garcia, Locked On Spurs. Is Doc Rivers an overrated coach?
Glenn Rivers.
Does cheese go on pizza? I mean, listen, Doc Rivers, and once upon a time, a lot of people thought he was the second best coach, right behind Greg Popovich. But man, I mean, the blunders, the blown leads, actual leads, the Ben Simmons fiasco. I mean, just so much
that
of
ship has sailed.
Has sailed. I mean, do I think he could still coach in the NBA? Why not? But I just, as an elite, overrated. Yeah, a lot of people talk about him. Not as much, obviously, now, just because he's obviously been losing. But
he's Mike McCarthy of the NBA right now.
He won a title, and that's it.
At least he did get to two NBA finals. At least he got to an extra, though. That team was pretty stacked.
But he couldn't even win with Chris Paul and those guys, DeAndre Jordan, Blake Griffin, and all those guys. And like you said, and Gio, he's not a good in-game manager. You know that. He doesn't. Doc is. I don't know what happened to Doc, man. I like him as a person, but
he's stubborn, Derek, or it's just he doesn't have it in him, or
I don't think he has it in him anymore, man. I think Doc is coaching for the money now, to be honest about it. Sometimes you get content with that championship. He got that championship with the Celtics, and since then, I don't know if the fire has been the same. And then you go to Philadelphia, that might make you lose some of your interest.
That's true.
Going through the trust in the process, and so it just doesn't look like he has that fire, and it's sad to see after Adrian Griffin was run out of there with a 30-13 record.
Yeah, and I also think with the age of analytics, I think things have changed. The game clearly has changed. The other night, Rudy, when I texted in the group chat, I saw this freaking Victor shooting 11, 13. I said, bro, what is this? And you know what? Interesting. I found out that Edwards from the Timberwolves,
Minnesota, yeah,
he's shooting about
14
7-8
threes
a game. It's like, dude, what? I mean, I understand analytics. Sure, you might make more because you're shooting way more, but how much more are you actually making a game? And then tonight, Joel Embiid, I look at the stats, 2 rebounds, and yet he shot 6 threes. Dude, what is going on?
Boy.
What is this? And
hey, Gio, Shaq,
why 2 rebounds? I think
Shaq said, that's ridiculous. Oh, now what about him? Because we'll talk about him next time. But Shaq said something about Shaq had talked to a general manager or something, and they were saying that whatever team that was wanted to shoot like over 43s, and if they made 10 of them or something, he said they wanted to shoot like 53s, and if they made 14 or 15, they were happy.
You can't make this up. I'm telling you, midway through the third quarter, Embiid had 2 rebounds, and he was, I think, 1 for 5 or 1 for 6 from 3. I said, you gotta be kidding me. Are you serious?
A day's NBA, man. That's all it is.
The best center ever, remember?
And that's why the ratings are
tanking. All right, we got to go, man. But let's play what if the Spurs opted to go with Doc Rivers as head coach instead of Pop. Do you still see the Spurs still win 5 titles? So if he coached Tim Duncan and Tony Parker and all that team, do they still win 5 titles? Quick yes or no before we go, guys.
No.
5 is a lot. I think Duncan, in spite of Doc Rivers' coaching, can at least get 3 or 4, not 5.
Okay, we agree. Yeah. So there's your answer.
I think I think Duncan he's going to win in spite of the blunders. And by the way, Duncan could have went to Orlando, but apparently Doc didn't want his family riding in the plane. I don't know.
He already screwed up.
He already screwed up there.
Oh, God. All right. Well, appreciate Jeff Garcia. Appreciate everybody joining us on tonight here for Sweep the League. We will be back tomorrow with the Wednesday edition of Sweep the League. Our friends over at Pro Football Talk normally release their power rankings for NFL. That's what we get into. Appreciate everybody joining us tonight here on Sweep the League. Watch Sweep Unplugged. We got a lot of episodes coming there. Tomorrow morning, we're going to have Sweep the League College Game Weekly. That's going to be dropping tomorrow. Just a lot of stuff coming out. So be on the lookout. Go to YouTube. And all you got to do is search Sweep the League TV. Be a subscriber. For Hall of Famer Derek Irvin. For Hall of Famer Coach Gio. It is newly crowned in my own mind. Hall of Famer Rudy Campos Jr. Until we sweep the league again. And also hit up Derek on Cameo. He's on Cameo now. I put my my name in the basket for Cameo. And I got to cut it up into pieces and said next time, Rudy. So until I can get mine on there, go visit Derek on Cameo. Hit him up on there. So again, for Derek Irvin, Coach Gio, Rudy Campos Jr., we'll see all you knuckleheads tomorrow night. Enjoy the night, guys.
Everybody have a good night. Stay safe.
Are you looking for a contracting company that gets the job done right the first time? Look no further than MCS General Contracting. MCS specializes in top quality concrete work, including patios, driveways, foundations, and swimming pools. The team of experts are dedicated to delivering exceptional results and unparalleled customer satisfaction. At MCS General Contracting, they're not just hardworking, they're local. Based in San Antonio, they are committed to building relationships and trust within the community. That's why MCS guarantees your satisfaction. They pride themselves on getting the job done right the first time, every time. So why wait? Contract MCS General Contracting today to schedule your project and experience the difference for yourself. MCS General Contracting, building a better San Antonio, one project at a time. Proud sponsors of Sweep the League.
Do you love sports? Are you a current or former athlete? Or maybe you're a leader in business with a passion for success? Then we want to talk to you. Join us as a guest on Sweep Unplugged. It's our 15-minute segment where we dive into inspiring stories from the world of sports and business. All you have to do is visit podmatch.com/sweeptheleaguetv and send us a message. Thanks to Podmatch, connecting has never been easier, and it's a fantastic way to grow your network. We're looking forward to having you on the show. Contact us today, and let's get you on Sweep Unplugged.
For the ones who doubted, now we're showing the proof. Came from the struggle, we live in the truth.
STL Music.
Yeah, challenges come, but we here to stay. Built from the dirt, now we paving the way. Had a bad day, but
Are you a hockey fan looking for the latest on the Edmonton Oilers, Pittsburgh Penguins, and NHL news of the week? Barry and Carson Best bring it all to you on the Best Boys Center Ice podcast. They break down games, provide insider updates, and keep you up to speed every week. Don't miss out. Subscribe now and join their hockey family.
Welcome to the Lean Left, Lean Right podcast, where spirited debates and open discussions reign supreme. Join hosts Rudy and Shemaya as they dive headfirst into the hottest topics in politics and beyond. They're all about seeking common ground without losing their passion for their perspectives. If you're ready for real talk and honest opinions, subscribe now and join the conversation.
You are watching Sweep the League TV. Make sure you subscribe and catch our new videos.
Sweep the League TV with Rudy, Derek, and Coach Gio. Let's get back to the live show. You are watching the best in the business. We build a legacy, yeah, they know the name. STL Music, it's a movement, not just a claim. Loyalty, respect, that's the code we honor. In the face of adversity, we stand stronger. We build a legacy, yeah, they know the name. STL Music, it's a movement, not just a claim. Loyalty, respect, that's the code we honor. In the face of adversity, we stand stronger.